going to be easy, but we're going to get this done. And as your future president, I know we are up to this fight.
A West Coast native will be at the top of the Democratic presidential ticket this November. California's Kamala Harris has secured enough delegates to earn the nomination for her party. And with the nomination, the vice president becomes the first presidential candidate from the West Coast since John McCain of Arizona in 2008. Good evening. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Crystal Bailey. Vice President Harris formally became the nominee this morning when the Democratic National Committee chair announced she had passed the threshold of needed delegates in a virtual roll call that doesn't officially end until Monday.
I am so proud to confirm that Vice President Harris has earned more than a majority of votes from all convention delegates and will be the nominee of the Democratic Party following the close of voting on Monday. The outpouring of support we have witnessed for the vice president has been unprecedented. We knew your ballots would come back quickly, but the fact that we can say today, just one day after we open voting, that the vice president has crossed the majority threshold and will officially be our nominee next week, folks, that is simply outstanding.
Harris, writing on X, quote, "I am honored to be the Democratic nominee for President of the United States. I will officially accept the nomination next week. This campaign is about people coming together, fueled by love of country, to fight for the best of who we are." This makes Harris the first woman of color nominated by either major party for president. Now, Vice President Kamala Harris is in the final stages of selecting a running mate, and that person will hit the campaign trail with her starting next Tuesday. As Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, Harris's final pick could be crucial to winning over voters in battleground states.
President Kamala Harris hasn't shied away from the spotlight, but she stayed quiet about who she's considering for her running mate. But an announcement is close. There's a short list, of course, of contenders who've gone through the vetting process, but at this point, two names seem to have risen above the pack: Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly.
She will select somebody who shares her values and vision for the American people.
Kelly and Shapiro both represent swing states. Kelly, a Navy veteran and astronaut, has been an influential voice for Democrats on immigration and border security, a hot-button issue seen as a weak spot for Harris. But the path to the White House likely runs through Pennsylvania, which Shapiro could lock in.
I trust she will make that decision on her own terms when she is ready.
If picked, Shapiro could be the first Jewish vice president in the White House, at a time when the nation is divided over the war in Israel.
If she picks Shapiro, she's going to lose the Palestinian vote, and that's fine. Everybody has their liabilities.
What's not a liability for the Harris campaign? Cash. The vice president raked in $310 million in July, more than double the $138.7 million brought in by former President Donald Trump. Governor Shapiro canceled several personal fundraisers scheduled for this weekend, fueling speculation he could be Harris's chosen running mate. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
In Oakland, California, the grassroots group Indivisible East Bay says they are all in for Kamala Harris for president. The group officially endorsed the former California senator and district attorney in an event at Preservation Park this afternoon. Organizers warned about efforts to thwart the democratic process and say they will be redoubling their efforts around voter registration and education.
Because every vote counts now more than ever, because with this excitement, we have a chance to really make some transformational history.
East Bay State Senator Nancy Skinner was among the speakers. She told us that she is seeing enormous unity among Democrats as leaders and voters have joined forces to back Vice President Harris. Now, one of the largest oil companies on Earth is relocating from the West Coast to the southern U.S. Chevron announcing today it will move its headquarters from the Bay Area to Houston after nearly 150 years in business. Fox 2's Tom Vakar was in San Ramon, where he spoke with residents about what this means for the region.
At its somewhat disappointing report to investors quarterly earnings-wise, Chevron's chief executive spent all of 8 seconds on a major announcement of its 145 years of being headquartered in California.
Today we announced we're moving Chevron's headquarters from San Ramon to Houston to enable better collaboration and engagement, both internally and externally.
That could be a significant blow to the suburban city of 86,000 people where 2,000 Chevron headquarters employees work. Just a week ago, Chevron's Richmond refinery director, head of a major asset of Chevron, reacted to my question about its moving its headquarters to Texas.
We haven't moved the headquarters of this company to Texas. The headquarters are in San Ramon. We just moved to a bright, shiny new facility in San Ramon that's really nice.
I think Chevron has been leaving the Bay Area for a long time.
Jim Wunderman is president of the Bay Area Council, a consortium of many of the Bay Area's largest employers.
It's a California namesake. It's a company with tremendous history here. So I think it means something with a company with that kind of California roots decides to pick up its leadership and move to Texas. And I don't think it sends a good message to other companies.
Two folks we met at a San Ramon post office agree.
Absolutely does. You know, we could clearly use the revenues, and I think it's not even just San Ramon, California in general. You know, we're losing too many businesses, and hate to see that happen. So hopefully the powers to be will do a better job trying to keep these companies here, because you're losing all the tax revenues.
Sad to see that. It's perhaps a testament to the policies in California. But I think San Ramon's a pretty robust community and definitely lots of businesses around, so I think they'll be fine.
The refineries and many of their offices, projects, and assets will remain in California.
I think Chevron will remain here in terms of their California operation. Their CEO, Mike Wirth, said very much that.
Despite my asking several times, it's not clear how many, if any, will remain in San Ramon. Tom Vakar, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Apple is asking a federal judge to dismiss an antitrust lawsuit involving its smartphones. The Justice Department accuses the Northern California-based company of restricting contracts and withholding critical access from developers. Apple contends limiting access does not constitute a monopoly. The company also says it should not be forced to share technology with competitors. The Department of Justice is suing TikTok and its parent company, ByteDance, for violating children's online privacy laws. The suit was filed jointly by the DOJ and the FTC in a California federal court. The lawsuit alleges TikTok knowingly collected and stored data from millions of children under the age of 13. It also accuses the social media app of failing to comply with parents' requests to delete their children's accounts and personal information. TikTok has not yet responded to the suit. A detective for the largest county in Arizona is now in custody, accused of killing his wife. This case started as a missing persons report Wednesday after Elizabeth Bird missed a gym class. When investigators arrived at she and her husband's home, they found Elizabeth dead with a locked bedroom door and her husband, John, nowhere to be found. John was later found driving Elizabeth's car. He was brought in for questioning, and that's when Mesa police say he confessed, telling investigators a flip switched in him during a heated argument. John is employed as a detective with Maricopa County Attorney's Office. Bird now faces a second-degree murder charge.
The state has concerns about the defendant's risk to the community based on the fact that the sheer violence that's involved in a strangulation, the amount of force, and the time that it is required to cause a death like this.
The Maricopa County Attorney's Office released a statement last night saying the Pinal County Attorney's Office will handle prosecution in this case. The process has begun to end Bird's employment with MCAO. He will be back in court next Wednesday. And in Southern California, the Los Angeles Police Department is celebrating the success of its heavy metal task force after its investigators resulted in 82 arrests. LA City leaders created the task force 6 months ago to address the copper wire theft problem that left several neighborhoods in the dark. At a Tuesday press conference, authorities shared they have seized almost 2,000 pounds of copper wire. 60 of the 82 people arrested will face felony charges. State leaders say these crimes harm the community in several ways.
These are criminal rings organized to rob the public blind, often using those suffering from addiction as their tools.
The theft of these materials poses an immediate threat to public safety, and it also has a profound impact on the communication infrastructure.
Councilmember Kevin De Leon also says he is committed to come up with another $200,000 in funds to keep this task force operating. Well, investigators are working to determine the cause of a fire threatening homes in Colorado, why some officials believe it was not started by accident. And an early morning fire forced dozens of residents in a mobile home park in Arizona to evacuate, why some say they had difficulty escaping the inferno.
Much needed rain is pushing into the state of California, but there's also the risk of thunderstorm activity. I'll show you where with your West Coast wrap forecast. We'll be right back after this fast Fox break.
The Quarry Fire in Colorado is now being investigated as arson. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office announced today it believes the fire was, quote, human-caused in some manner. Officials did not say why they think the incident may have been intentionally started. The fire ignited Tuesday night in Jefferson County, not far from Denver. So far, it has burned more than 400 acres. It's 4% contained at this time. Evacuation orders remain in effect for several communities. FEMA has authorized the use of federal funds to help crews suppress the fire. And a firefighter is speaking out after losing his home to the devastating park fire. Daniel Figueroa is a battalion chief with Beale Fire Emergency Services. When he saw the smoke from the fire, he didn't think much of it, but when he realized that the fire could make it to his home, he gathered his wife and kids and got out. The next day, he got the news from a neighbor that his house was gone. Despite his loss, he is still grateful that his wife and children are alive and safe.
I wasn't home. I don't think my wife and kids would have made it out. So I was very blessed. I thank God every day for letting me be home because I wasn't supposed to be there.
The Figueroas are now staying with family. Daniel says he does have wildfire home insurance and he's started a claim to try and build back what his family lost. NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who is a Butte County native, is sending help for the fire relief efforts. Rodgers has donated $50,000 to the North Valley Community Foundation's Wildfire Relief and Recovery Fund. Rodgers also donated to the nonprofit last month to help evacuees affected by the Thompson Fire, which burned nearly 4,000 acres, in Butte County. Now, dozens of people at a mobile home park in Mesa, Arizona, were woken up by a fire early this morning. The fire broke out near Alma School Road and Main Street. Police transported at least 2 people to the hospital. They are hurt but are expected to recover. The fire is now under control, but power is still being restored for some in the area. One homeowner says she was overwhelmed by the flames.
We just woke up. We didn't know what was going on. We always saw it was smoke surrounding us, and we tried to actually go through towards the door so we could see we could exit through the main door, and it was impossible.
Mesa Fire and Medical says the flames started in a single trailer but quickly spread to 2 other units. The cause of the fire is now under investigation. While those fires could be impacted by a variety of weather conditions on the west, meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez joins us now to explain.
And Crystal, we have it all going on right here, right now. But let's start off with the basics. It is 89 degrees in Portland, Oregon. Also in Reno, Nevada. How about a cool 63 degrees in San Francisco? Bested by 69 degrees in Los Angeles, 102 in Las Vegas. Now, we do have that red flag warning. It's in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. I would not be surprised if it's extended through the weekend. We have gusty winds and low relative humidity and throughout portions of all the way into Del Norte County, into Siskiyou County, well into Oregon as well, and lifting into Idaho as well as Salt Lake City. Now, this is the very latest on the park fire that continues to burn out of control. So far, nearly 400,000 acres have been charred, only 24% containment. And it was 101 degrees there today. It'll be same again tomorrow. Right now, 94 degrees. The winds are out of the south at 12 because we're seeing more of a southerly flow now, all from subtropical moisture that derived in the state of Arizona, clipped Nevada, then worked its way in throughout the back door of the state of California. In fact, we've had reports of heavy rainfall in Barstow, Apple Valley, and in Victorville in the Mojave Desert. And then all of this has also skirted over the Grapevine and worked its way up into the Central Valley. We do have reports of some heavy rain showers in the Visalia area, working its way from 395 up to Reno, Nevada, and also reports of thunderstorm activity around the Greater Lake Tahoe area, and that is not what we want to see. A lot of these lightning strikes are cloud to ground lightning strikes and can spark a fire at any point. We also have the rain bypassing the Redding and Chico area where the fire continues to burn. You can see the circulation around that subtropical moisture there. It's trying to enter the Monterey Bay area with a 40% chance of rain showers there tonight overnight. And also in the Bay Area, no reports of rain there yet, but there's a good chance, especially in the eastern portion of the Bay Area. I'm talking about the Livermore area, Pleasanton, San Ramon, Dublin, and all this activity will continue to lift up in a northerly fashion before it's all said and done by Saturday afternoon in California. Meanwhile, in Seattle today, spot on 81 degrees, and that's where you should be for this time of the year. Combination of some low clouds and the high level cloudiness from the subtropical moisture at 66 in San Francisco, 112 in Phoenix. How about 88 degrees in Santa Monica? Tomorrow in Los Angeles, 86 to 88 degrees. In fact, the heat is on for California and also Arizona. Phoenix, you're going to experience 115 degrees over the weekend.
Thank you, Roberta. The FAA is investigating a small plane crash in Northern California. It happened just before 9:30 this morning in a rural, unincorporated area of Livermore in the Bay Area. Federal officials say only the pilot was on board that single-engine Cessna 150 plane when it crashed. Mercury News saying the pilot survived and reported losing engine power. Now to Portland, Oregon, where folks are bracing for higher bills next year. Portland General Electric had requested a 7.4% rate increase for next year, but now the utility says they want a 10.9% hike, citing the rising cost of power and investments in infrastructure. Since 2021, Portland General Electric rates have increased by nearly 44%. Washington State has launched a new EV rebate program. It will provide up to $9,000 to lease or buy a new or used EV, bringing lease payments under $200 a month on several popular models. You're eligible if you are a Washington resident earning about $45,000 annually for a single person or $93,600 for a family of four.
Not only do you pay no gasoline, but you know you can be part of what Washington is doing, which is saving our beautiful clean air and clean water. We know that pollution comes out of our tailpipes now, and everybody who drives an EV is avoiding that pollution. And that's pollution with a capital P. That pollution is causing climate change, which is causing our state to burn down literally as we speak.
Washington is the first state to introduce low-cost leases as part of an EV incentive program. And tonight, a bridge project gets underway that could impact Seattle drivers for more than a month. The Seattle Department of Transportation crews will be repaving the South Spokane Street Viaduct between I-5 and the West Seattle Bridge. The goal is to repair potholes and cracking and repave the road from 10 tonight until 5 Monday morning. All eastbound lanes and one westbound lane will be closed. The work will continue each weekend and most weeknights until September 2nd.
I mean, look how friendly they can be. They can be your best friend, actually.
Tough financial times can make it hard to support pets. Coming up, how one organization is helping animals that are less commonly owned. And the happiest place on earth has quite the collection of lost items. How you can get your hands on some of the most valuable items left at Disneyland for a discount price. Tough economic times means many families are being forced to give up their animals, and not just cats and dogs, but also less conventional pets like pigs and snakes. Fox 5's Jacqueline Schultz takes us to a foundation in Las Vegas working to find these animals a new home.
They snort, squawk, slither, or squeak. Dogs and cats hog the limelight at the Animal Foundation, but from pet store critters like guinea pigs, rats, or ferrets, farm animals like ducks or chickens, or more exotic varieties like peacocks or snakes. If a pet becomes homeless, they are taken to the shelter. 2/3 of animals that come in are strays, the rest get dropped off, surrendered or seized by animal control.
The housing crisis that's going on, it's kind of a microcosm of the same reasons that we see other animals come into the shelter. Somebody gets evicted from their apartment and maybe they have a tank of tropical fish. That's how we get stray fish.
That's how Crawlina the tarantula and her siblings came to the shelter. Her family was evicted from an apartment. They didn't come back. CEO Hillary Gray says many reptiles come to the shelter due to the illegal trade, and there are police seizures.
Metro busted a guy on the Strip who was selling baby red slider turtles out of a suitcase. One of the government agencies went out to a house and found a hot tub full of fish.
When it comes to birds, many outlive their owners. Other families want a cool pet, end up with an animal they cannot manage.
Baby potbelly pigs, they're very small and they think that they're going to stay that small, and then they, become very large, and you actually have to be zoned for that kind of animal.
I mean, look how friendly they can be. They can be your best friend, actually.
The Animal Foundation says a team of experts cares for the critters, and if a dog or cat is not right for your family,
and just a little bit of enrichment,
workers can walk you through to see what creature on land or in water could be right for you.
It's not as hard as people think. You could have a hermit crab. You could have a turtle, you could have a snake, and all these animals deserve loving homes. They all deserve high standard care.
That was Fox 5's Jacqueline Schultz reporting. The Las Vegas Sphere is gearing up for its first sports competition next month. Tickets are now on sale for the UFC March set for September 14th, and it's going to cost fans thousands of dollars to attend. Today, Ticketmaster was showing tickets for $3,000 and up. The main event features fighters Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Merab Dvalishvili. Here is a new statue honoring one of the greatest to suit up for the purple and gold. Today, the Los Angeles Lakers unveiled a sculpture outside the Crypto.com arena honoring the late Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. This piece of art shows Kobe embracing his daughter. Both were killed in a helicopter crash back in 2020. This is the second statue honoring Kobe Bryant. And in Mesa, Arizona, there's a retro arcade bar filled with memorabilia from the latter half of the 19th century. Starfighter's Arcade is filled with nostalgic pieces, including more than 90 pinball machines dating back to the 1970s. And it's not just the games that will take you back. All the memorabilia in the bar will transform you back to yesteryear.
From the 80s, vinyl from the 80s and 90s. So when people walk around here, they can associate with something. There's something that they've seen as a child or years ago that they love. It's like, oh, I had that. And you get that feedback instantly.
And whether you remember spending hours in the arcade as a teenager or if it's your first time experiencing the classic fun, there's something for everyone. The arcade is $11 per person for 4 hours of play. And the western U.S. is full of wonderful national parks, and this weekend you can enjoy them for free. National parks nationwide are waiving entrance fees this Sunday for all visitors. That's because August 4th marks the 4th anniversary of the Great American Outdoors Act, which the National Park Service says enables them to upgrade infrastructure and improve the visitor experience. The waiver does not apply to amenities or user fees such as camping, transportation, or special tours. In Southern California, Disneyland is having a lost and found sale tomorrow morning. Thousands of items will be available for purchase at 90% or more off retail price. The one-day only event is happening at the Goodwill Orange County Marketplace in Santa Ana. Disney cast members who register in advance will be able to bring one guest from 6:30 to 11 in the morning. Members of the public will be able to attend starting after 11, and no reservation is required. Items will include hats, headbands, sunglasses, plush dolls, and souvenir cups. Sounds like a lot of fun and a great way to get some fun Disney merchandise. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You can stay up to date on all the things we're covering online. Just go to westcoastwrap.com. Thank you so much. Have a good night.